Let's go. Let's go.
Oh my God, the quarterback is toast. Hit it again. Hit it again.
Let's go. Let's go.
Hit it again. Hit it again. Oh my God, the quarterback is toast. Hit it again.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Today we're going to talk about Cowboys camp. I got a special guest tonight. Footsdaking will be joining us here shortly. But as you know, guys, we're talking football. We're talking Cowboys training camp. Lots to talk about. Q&A session. This is serious. Cab mode time. 100% of the time. Maybe you know how we do it. So, yeah, man, lots to talk about. We'll hit up on the latest topics of the day. Mainly, this will be us just talking openly about training camp, what we like, who's turning heads, and we're going to be doing some Q&A, man. So if you guys have questions in the chat box, please put them in the chat box, and we'll get to them as we go through the show. So, guys, first off, shout out to everybody in the chat box. Shout out to everybody watching this live and on the replay. Make sure you guys hit like on the video here, and it really helps out the channel. So, shout out to you guys. It is Saturday night. Football is here, bros. We saw preseason started up last night. Thursday night, actually. Thursday night football, right? So, man, it's just good to have football back. And we're going to see what the Cowboys are all about, man. So, without further ado, bro, look at this. Here we go. Stevie Mack with the first question coming in hot. How about the kicker competition? Yeah, man, that kicker competition, bro, like, they got to bring in somebody. I don't know if they probably won't can both of them, but they got to probably can one of them, and but these guys are so stubborn, man. We saw them stick with Greg the Peg Leg, knowing that he was this type of guy. If Greg was out here, he would probably be missing these types of field goals as well. He'd probably be like, a 4 of 8, 5 of 8, something like that. So I'm almost afraid that these guys are going to stick with what they have, and they just pick one of these guys, and they're not good, man. You know what I mean? So surely there's somebody out there, a street free agent, that can come in here and give some competition to these guys, because right now, it's not good. In all these games, everybody talks about it. A lot of these games, especially last season, we had a couple of them that came down to the final possession. A field goal wins it. If you miss it, you lose, right? And we had some that went that way. So we have these guys that are missing field goals. It's a drain. You know what I mean? Because it really sucks the juice out of your team. Like, you move the ball down the field and you don't come away with points. It's demoralizing. You know what I mean? So they got to figure out that kicker. Good question there, Stevie Mack. Appreciate you, bro. Very good indeed. JJ Green, CD and Schultz in fantasy. Yes, absolutely yes. You know what I mean? I had Schultz in I think 2 of my leagues last year. And steady, man. If you need someone to come in here, but grab you 8 to 17 points on the high side, I mean, Schultz, he'll consistently get you points, especially if you're in a PPR league, because he'll get those receptions, he'll move the chains, he'll get those points. So that's a good one. CeeDee Lamb, I think, has an opportunity to be very high, as far as like point production, that sort of thing. Question is, where do you draft him? Is he a first rounder for you, second rounder? It'll be interesting to see where CeeDee Lamb goes in a lot of fantasy football drafts. But yeah, those guys are probably the 2 that I would definitely draft within the first 4 rounds for sure. I like this here. Ivan Lopez. Appreciate everybody in the chat box, man. QA session. We'll wait for Foots to get on here and we'll chop it up, talking about the team. Defensive tackle battle between Gallimore and Ridgeway will be awesome. Yeah. Ridgeway is doing really good in camp from what we're hearing. You know, he's bullying a lot of the guys out here, and we're talking about a rookie, right? So, but has a lot of strength. That's something that we really need. We don't need, defensive tackles that are, too light, getting pushed back into the linebackers. I'm really happy where we're at right now with our defensive tackles. You know what I mean? Because they're really going to open up opportunities for the linebackers. We saw a little bit of that last year with, Micah Parsons. He was able to utilize, some of the strengths that we started gaining at the defensive tackle last year. But this year, I think we'll see better. We're going to reap more rewards from that, right? Because we have a year 2 Osa. Novell will be back. Ridgeway is going to be in the mix. And we'll see who else gets into the mix there. But, yeah, good question there indeed. Ivan Lopez, appreciate you. Without further ado, Foots the King. Go to Goats. What's up?
Hey, Joe, I'm sorry for being late, bro. Had to actually just coming from a gig. I had to shoot home and rock with Joe Rod. All right.
That's what it's all about. Yes, champions. Let's get back to the good old days, bro. Hopefully that'll go down, man.
I think it will, Joe. Joe, first of all, it's so good to talk to you. We haven't talked. First of all, how is your health? Are you good, bro?
Yeah, fully recovered from the COVID-19, thankfully, and back in action, bro.
Okay, the biggest thing is I'm just like, man, didn't want that scare. I was like, man, I hope that Joe's good and you look healthy, so that's a blessing, bro. Seriously.
I appreciate that, bro.
Nah, it's bigger than sports with us. 2, Joe, me and you have been on the side of, I wouldn't say the side of this front office, but we've tried to make sense of these moves, and it's good to see that how things are playing out. It's making the front office look kind of smart. I don't know where you were, Joe, but that was just my opening remarks. Like, people had gotten so crazy with, oh, we're not going to be good because we didn't sign this player, that player, blah, 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 and whatever. So.
Yeah, and mainly we're talking about, right, like the Randy Gregory situation, Lyle Collins. These guys are both not even participating right now. So It's kind of more of the same old with those two. Connor Williams is getting beat up in Miami camp. So he didn't get any stronger. He plateaued. I'm glad we got, let him go. But Foots, like you said, man, it's great to be talking Cowboys football here. So we're about 8 days into it, right? So what is the main storyline that has really caught your attention here in these early days of camp?
For me personally, my main storyline, or my favorite storyline, is the fact that I actually like the way these young receivers look. Me personally, and I've kind of been on record saying that I like the way these young receivers look. And I guess the main storyline is that the receiver play isn't a storyline, and that I think that it's going to carry over. I think that Tolbert looks smooth. I think that Simi Fayoko has done some nice things. And obviously losing James Washington hurts, but Joe, you've done a good job, as you do, staying on top of the fact that he wasn't really ready for OTAs, and we don't know how healthy he's going to be. Yeah,
no. Man, when I saw him roll out there in OTAs and minicamp with the boot, I said, nah, this ain't good. I don't know about this. And the Cowboys, they don't say what it was. Like, what did he actually have? Does anybody actually know what he was in the boot for? I don't know if anybody ever found out what it was. You know what I mean? Was it the same foot that he broke or what? So. But Foots, I think you hit on the head. The wide receivers, I think, is really one that once Washington went out, I think a lot of us were like, oh, we got to sign somebody. And these guys are making pretty good plays in camp. Now, my big test or the litmus test for these guys, like a Dennis Houston, even like a TJ Vasher, all these young guys, I think the litmus test will be the preseason, right? When the lights come on, we see it every single year. Foots with Andy Joneses of the world, John V. Johnsons, all these guys look really good in camp. Preseason, where the hell are they? So, Foots, of these guys, do you feel that one or two of these guys will in fact show up in the preseason and continue to stack that success and maybe earn a roster spot?
I do, and I think that. So I just think that this group has a little bit of a better feel than guys like the Andy Jones. First of all, I think that Jalen Tolbert will get every opportunity to do just that, and he just looks a little different than the other guys.
Yeah.
Then the kid Dennis, I like the way he looks, and I kind of want it to be CeeDee Lamb, a 2, a 3, whoever, tight end, and 2 good running backs. Like, I think what happened with us last year, Joe, is you got 3 great receivers. And by the way, I think they may not make a super hasty move because Gallup may be back sooner than we think, right? But, the truth is, I think the CeeDee Lamb is good enough to kind of carry a receiving core until Gallup gets back with the pieces that you have. So, I know that kind of was all over the place, but do I think these guys will carry it over? I do. Because I don't think that me personally, I don't think that there'll be that much added pressure for them to be great. They just had to be serviceable. They just need to be good. Because, let's be honest, was James Washington going to, break any records early on? Maybe.
Yeah. No, it's going to be interesting, man. Like I'm very, very interested in how this is going to shape up here with Denver, because Denver defensively, I think they're pretty good. You know what I mean? So if we can get at least one unsung hero, whether it's TJ or Dennis Houston, like you said, I Jalen Tolbert is the real deal. He looks good. I think he's ready. Like, he'll be starting opposite of CeeDee Lamb from what I've seen. So you get in Gallup. Yeah, he's catching everything.
Yeah.
Right. He really has a good rapport with Dak Prescott. And at the end of the day, if you have that endorsement from Dak Prescott, you're in like Flint. You make the team. So, just off that, I love that. 3rd round wide receiver and Dak, they have a good rapport. CD, obviously. Even Noah Brown, the guy who continues to stick around. What can you say about Noah Brown, Foots?
He's showing up. He's making plays. Like, we all know that. Let's be honest, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
We have to kind of. It's hard not to, because if you get too high, they let you down. If you low, when they show up.
Yeah.
It's good to see the Noahs. Because I've always just thought of him as a blocking receiver, bigger guy, can crack the ends, all that type of stuff. But it's good to see the Noah Browns getting some just due.
Yeah, he seems to always show up in camp, and even I think like the last 2 seasons, he's actually contributed during the season, right? So I think he'll be one of the ones that makes it. Simi, he's out there looking like he looks improved, right? From rookie season to this season, you can see the difference, right? So
preseason games will be very big for Simi.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, preseason is going to be where it's at for these wide receivers, and it'll give us some clarity. So I'm pumped. And so our first preseason game is on the 13th versus Denver. All eyes will be on them, bro. April Showers with the super chat. I was pessimistic after the Cooper trade, optimistic after the draft. Now with our wide receiver, we're pessimistic again. Foots, help me. All right, Foots. Let's bring April Showers off the ledge here. So what do you guys say for April here, Foots?
So April, are you pessimistic? Meaning, are you annoyed by this group? Are you happy? Like, are you optimistic? I'm kind of lost in your question. April, we love you, by the way. I feel like so. If you follow me and Joe, we were high on the Tolbert pick. We actually thought that kind of offset the Sam Williams pick. Who Sam Williams? I don't know if we're going to talk about him tonight, Joe, but he's done pretty well. He looked like he's coming along, but to me, Tolbert has been the guy who's just been amazing and outstanding. To me, I think one of the cool things about Tolbert is how many places they've played him. They played him on the outside, they played him in the X, they played him in the Y, they played him inside as a slot. So, I mean, if you hit on just Tolbert alone, you hit. You hit. So, I would say you should be optimistic, April. You should be optimistic, yes.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm right there with you, Foot. So if we were just to say, an early projection on the wide receivers, if you went 5 deep, maybe they go 6, right, Foots? But if you go, let's just say the baseline is 5 receivers. CD, right? And then you got Jalen Tolbert, obviously. Gallup, right? I mean, I don't think they're going to put him on. What is it? I don't think they're going to start him on pup. He won't be able to come back until week 6 or 7 or something like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Gallup, so that's 3 there. 2, who would be these last 2 here? So we're looking at, the battle, right? Noah Brown, I think probably takes one of those.
No, it'll take one of those. So it'll be between Dennis and Vasher. Well, there's a guy who I'm not high on. It's probably Vasher. I know he had the outstanding catch, but other than that, I just don't see it. I'm consistent with that.
Yeah.
I know you're a fan favorite, but yeah, I just don't see it.
I think so, man. I think so. And then we have Turpin too. So maybe they do end up going 6 deep.
Turpin's an interesting one.
So they might go 6, right? Just for that other need on special teams. So if they go 6 deep, Turpin, I think he's in that mix there. Thank you, April. Appreciate that there.
That's a good question. And then April, I'm gonna double back, Joe. So she said, I don't think that this receiver corps can stand up with NFL defense. Well, you got to see it. I tell you what, it's just one-on-ones, but I didn't know that Simi's fast. I didn't know that he was that fast. So that was cool seeing him. And then let's just say this about Trevon Diggs giving up plays in one-on-ones. It's practice. It's just so ridiculous. It's ridiculous. There's no safety help. There's no rush.
Yeah.
But I will say it's pretty cool seeing Simi. Simi showed a gear that I didn't know he had. Now the rest of the stuff, the catching ability, the route running, we'll have to see it. But just if you're talking about speed alone and NFL speed, Simi definitely has NFL speed. Tolbert will be fine. I've seen enough. Tolbert is going to be a good NFL receiver. He's going to probably play like how Michael Gallup played his rookie year. And then you get Gallup back and you get CD, so you'll be fine.
Yeah, it's going to be – I think for us it's going to be getting through those first games that are monster games, right? You got Tampa's on there early on. You got the Bengals early on and these guys. So – the more artillery we can bring to the table, the better. So hopefully, one of these guys will be an unsung hero, and we'll have to be stressing about these Cowboys trading away picks for another wide receiver. I do not want to do that. Let's talk a little bit about this here. Foots, about Anthony Barr. We talked about this, the signing here. We briefly talked about it. But Foots, I think both of us are on board here as far as he's going to help this defense, especially, opening a little bit more of the door for Micah to free roam and this sort of thing. What is your take on Anthony Barr and do you like the signing first off?
I do. I like the Barr signing. I don't like it. I love it. I think hearing George Edwards talk, first of all, George Edwards, just when you hear him talk, just sounds like a really sharp guy, Joe. Been around the league, old school, and just some of the things that he said about Barr. Barr was their captain. Lined everybody up. Those are always good things. I think that I was going to tweet this and I said, I don't want to be too divisive, but I think that Barr is probably better than I believe that Barr is probably better than I believe that Barr is probably better than LVE has ever been, but not quite as good as Micah. And so what is that? I don't know. That's pretty good to me. Longer athlete, can play sideline to sideline, Joe. Can tackle in space, can definitely get after the quarterback in the blitz game. And so, I mean, I'd rather have him on our team than not. Now this is something that we got to talk about, Joe. I want to hear your thoughts on it, Joe. But it's something we got to talk about. Who's the odd linebacker left out?
Yeah.
Because you're not going to fully – I don't think that you should move Micah to DN permanently. I wouldn't. He's going to be off the ball. Barr, I think he'll quickly show that he's a better player than Leighton. I don't know. It's tough. Is he better than Leighton right now, Joe? That's what we got to know. I watched some film, and he's really good. And then Jabril. Team had high hopes for Jabril. So who's left out, Joe?
Yeah. No, I don't think it'll be any of the main guys we're talking about. You know what I mean? I don't think it'll be LVE or Jabril. We're probably looking at some of these young guys that are on here. Gifford, maybe he sticks around if he can stay healthy. He seems to always get dinged up in the preseason, so we'll see about him. We drafted Harper. It's gonna be an uphill battle for him. We're probably looking more at practice squad for him to be quite real than some of the other lesser name guys. But I felt good about the linebacker core prior to the signing. Adding him now, like I said, Foots, definitely an upgrade at linebacker over what we had in Neal last year. So that already right there is looking good, right? So nickel situations, opening the door here for the other guys and himself. He's a playmaker too. Like you said, he's a leader, captain, like you said, Foots. So I mean, you can never have enough of those guys, and I think it's good to have a vet presence in there as well, because these linebackers are young, right? I mean, Micah's still pretty young. He can still learn from somebody like Anthony Barr, definitely Jabril Cox as well. So I like the mix of vet and young. So I'm actually pumped about this linebacker core, Foots.
Yeah, I agree. And then somebody made a good point. Depth is big, so that's a good point.
Oh yeah, for sure. JJ the Mine. I want to see Turpin with Dak and Turpin's new nickname, Turbo, from now on.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I liked what I saw from him in the USFL. And now going that into the NFL, obviously it's going to be a little bit different. It's speed all over the place, right? So, Foots. How would they? I mean, would you see? I think I see Turpin almost more as a slot kind of guy, right? Because of his height, his this sorts of thing. But if he can give you that boost, that juice in the return game, I think it's his spot to lose at this point. So, what's your thoughts on Turpin making this roster possibly?
Man, he got some juice, like that. So preseason, Joe.
Yeah.
He starts getting paid. He starts getting his name in the paper. It's gonna be hard to cut him. He got twitch that if you want to start talking about this team needing a guy who could do some, I wouldn't say Debo things, but who's a weapon? Some jet sweep, outflank, quick game type things, still some reps. Man, he's nice, bro. He can play. And if he can do it, Joe, in game, it's gonna be hard to keep him off the field.
Yeah.
Off the team.
Yeah. No, that's exactly what I kind of envision him in that sort of role, right? Kind of like a Darren Sproles type of guy, similar type of height, smaller type of guys, but really nimble on their feet. I mean, his feet. I mean, they blow away some of the guys that are out there, like a Vasher's feet are just kind of stiff out there. But you look at
Word.
him, you look at that agility. You know what I mean? I bet if you were to go and look at the combine numbers, his cone drills are probably pretty good. But yes, I'm with you on that, Foots. And the preseason, right? It's going to make some of these guys really push the rest of the team. So I think we're going to see some separation once this preseason games start coming through.
Yeah, somebody said Turpin is a Lucky Whitehead part 2. I see a better player than Whitehead. I like Lucky, but I see a better player than Whitehead.
Oh yeah, for sure. Whitehead just seemed kind of I don't know, what was it about Whitehead? Just it wasn't consistent enough, right? It was
Yeah, it
like
just
every now and then. Yeah.
I just didn't. Yeah, I liked him, but when I look at Cavante Turpin, I just see a different level of breakaway ability. Now, again, that's in the the USFL or whatever, so it's a different level of athlete. But I mean, I just see a guy with juice.
Mm.
Like, I mean, Whitehead is like a fast receiver. This guy looks like a fast athlete in space.
Oh
The
yeah.
whole line. He got some stuff that Whitehead didn't. Nah. Mm-mm.
I like this by K Jackson. He can be like a Curtis Samuels. I think that's a good
That's a
good
good
little
call.
put there. Yeah, that's a good one there. The oh man, what was I gonna say? Yeah, like you said, Foots, and I think this is why a reason we're not seeing like a Cole Beasley. He said he wants to come back. I think that ship is sailed there, Foots, especially with the front office the way he left. But I think we have plenty of role players that can fill that spot. Especially like a slot type of guy. I mean, it could be. I mean, Jalen could do it. Turpin could be in there and do it. We have a lot of flexibility, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love it. Talking about defense, staying with defense. Talking about Sam Williams during the draft process. I know you and I were kind of like, oh man, a lot of these fans are just falling in love with that workout, right? With Dan Quinn, and
Mm-hmm.
here we are, a couple months later. And yeah, I think he's looking pretty good. There's definitely potential there, Foots.
He's been a pleasant surprise, and I'll definitely eat some crow there. His workout was stiff, and I've still seen some things in his rushes. Like I'll tell you this: if I'm gonna eat crow on Sam Williams, everybody gonna eat crow on Tyler Smith because man,
Yeah.
but he's a lineman, so people aren't gonna even talk about. He looks the part. Woo. Dallas may have got them one with him. But anyway, back to Williams. Yeah, Williams has shown some things that this team is starting to show that they really have the draft pegged. Now it's training camp. Got to simmer expectations. But so far so good. It doesn't look to be. The biggest thing is that he has NFL size, and it just doesn't look to be too much for him. So that's pretty cool.
Indeed, yeah. He looks like he was built in a factory. The assembly line has all the attributes and measurements that you want in an edge rusher type of guy. So yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised, and I think he's going to do good things for the Cowboys here. Definitely will contribute here in year one, but I think he has a high ceiling. So I don't see him as being one of these guys that'll hit the ceiling real quick and just be what he is. Foots, let's talk about Tyler Smith, right? This guy, the mauler of maulers, that's what we've needed to set the tone, especially if we're talking about, we want to be physical. We want to run the ball again. It starts with the front there, the trenches. And if you have a guy like that who's not finesse, like a Connor Williams, and you have someone who's going to go after people, I mean, we're talking about. I don't want to get ahead of myself, Foots, and say he's like a Larry Allen or nothing like that by any means because of the number. But I mean, like you said, the Cowboys, they know what they're doing with drafting these offensive linemen early for us.
Okay, so he pancaked Tristan Hill, just destroyed him. Every run fit I've seen between between him and Connor Montgomery is not even close. Between him and Connor Williams is not even close, Joe.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it looks like they got this one pegged, especially inside a guard.
Yeah.
Man, and mind you, Tristan Hill, you know what, chat? Tristan Hill is having a good camp. I'll say that. You know, he's getting off the ball. He's doing what he's supposed to do. But I've still seen Tyler Smith put hands on him. And Tyler Smith is I'm pleasantly surprised with him, Joe. I am.
And I also like that they're really concentrating him more at the guard position versus what they were doing with him in rookie camp, OTAs, where he was kind of bouncing between the two. So I do like that. Figure out that tackle spot, and we'll talk about that. But yeah, Tristan Hill, Asmodeus, he's surprised. Yeah, I mean, I like this from April. So far, Hill is looking like he wants some money, and maybe that's what it is, right? I mean, he's what year is he in now? Is this his fourth season already?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Going into year 4.
Yeah, that's what it is. Contract year. So, do you want those types of players long term where they only show up in the contract year? Not me. So, I don't know. We'll see, man. We'll see what happens with Tristan. But even that defensive tackle room is getting kind of full there. So a good player is not going to make this team there. So I think we can all agree to that there, right?
No, yeah. Then you got to think about Fowler, Joe.
Yeah, I wonder, man. I wonder about Fowler.
Yeah, somebody on the back end of the D inside is going to be left out, and then D tackle as well. Yes.
I totally agree. I think I mentioned this too. I think that final spot might come down to Fowler and Basham. If we're talking about these edge rusher guys. Foots, going back to the offensive line. Well, let's go. Who looked good in the Senior Bowl. You were literally the first one to really talk about him. We talked about it after the Senior Bowl. I had that let's go guy. And then we draft him, right? But now he's out. And I think another little bit of a pleasant surprise for me, Foots, has been Josh Ball taking those snaps. The door opened. And I think he's holding his own there. You know what I mean? It doesn't look like this total disaster that it was kind of being painted out to be by some of the media guys. Oh, Josh Ball, total disaster. I don't even know if he makes the team. Well, now he's got an opportunity. And to me, I mean, he's holding his own. I mean, he's doing his thing against, our D linemen and holding up. I mean, obviously he does get beat here and there, but it's not a complete disaster like some were kind of projecting on the Josh Ball foot. So what's your thoughts on Josh Ball so far?
I'm very happy that, he reminds me of Doug Free when I watch him. Look at his size, his long arms, and just his play style. Like, he's not a mauler, but he's not getting beat. And that's always big, Joe. And, they had a second-round grade on him had it not been for off the field. So, to me, Joe, the fact that he's stepping up, I still think that they will bring in another tackle. I do, as a swing guy, unless Ball just takes this job by the reins and he's a true swing. But I think, the Walesko injury is unfortunate because I think that he needed this the most to get used to the NFL strength. But I don't know the status of his injury, Joe. I don't know how long he'll be out. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, we do see him out on the field, right? So he's definitely there with the old linemen. I saw him out there in the mojo moments today, running with the guys. Obviously, he's not in pads or anything, but it's good to see that he's out there with the team. Trying to build that camaraderie, even with that injury. So hopefully, it's not more than another week or two, and he can get back into the groove here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what we got here, bros. Fowler's got the connection with DQ. Yeah, that goes all the way back to Florida. He'll win the spot because chances of DQ knows what he wants to do with him. Yeah.
We'll see. I can't lock that in just because of that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, there's definitely the connection there, but at the end of the day, it's about getting to the quarterback. Bring me that pressure. I don't want to see because then it's like a wasted roster spot, right? So it's like that those final guys, even though maybe they're like the final edge rusher guy, whether it's Basham or
Fowler.
Fowler,
Yeah.
at least give me something.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
At least
Fowler
give
will
me
be playing a lot of preseason games. He hasn't earned the right to not play. I
yeah,
know Micah and those guys, they'll sit out, but you
yeah.
definitely want to see Fowler out there.
That's what I'm thinking. For let's talk about that. Let's talk about a little bit of what we could expect from that first preseason game. We saw last night. I'm sorry, Thursday night football. Lawrence didn't play. Carr didn't play. Devonta Adams. This seems to be what the NFL does, right? It's more about looking at your younger guys. Who's going to be able to step up. So, do you expect any of our starters there for that Denver game?
No, not Denver. No, Cooper Rush will start the game, and then it'll be a lot of Will Greer and a lot of Jalen Tolbert. Need to see what he looks like.
Yeah,
You need to see what Simi looks like offensively and defensively. Yeah, I mean, guys who are fighting for a roster spot, like a Fowler, he needs to play. But our guys know they won't play and they shouldn't. It's a long 17 game season and longer for us because we have aspirations of going farther. So they shouldn't play.
yeah. hmm
Mm-hmm.
I'm with that. I'm with that 100% because it's like, yeah, we won't see Tyron Smith out there. Um, Zach Martin, maybe, but I wouldn't even be surprised if he's not there. Your running backs, probably not. Because honestly, I want to get a look at if they're going to carry a third running back. I want somebody to lock that up, whether it's Dowdle, Malik Davis, or one of these other guys' foot. But yeah, D-Law, I don't expect him to be out there. Micah, probably not. As much as you're going to want to be out there because that guy is one hell of a competitor. But like you said, Foots, it's a longer season now. And it's all about war of attrition, and in these final weeks. So, yeah, we got to be smart about it for sure.
Have to. Yeah.
Asmodeus, here's a good question here. How does this defense look without Micah Parsons? Very good question. And I might even crap myself.
I was about to say, Osmodeus, I don't want to answer it because I don't want to imagine it. So there goes your answer. Got it?
Yeah, I don't want to see that either. That could be we could be back to the days of when Sean Lee was out, the defense level play went down, right? That was the thing. That was always, I hated that crap, bro. Like, and I'm almost afraid Micah's really good, really, really good. An all pro and all, he's got the credentials. We know what he is. Honestly, I do fear that. I fear that if he were to miss time, this defense might, move down a couple of pegs, But I don't know. Maybe under Dan Quinn, he's able to keep up the intensity, whether whoever's in and out. But that's a huge, huge loss if he were not in there. Don't want to imagine it. Don't want to imagine that.
No, you don't want to imagine it. I think that Micah is primed to just take the league by storm again, dude. He's different. He is, Joe. He's moving at a different speed, and again, he's just primed to just turn up again, Joe. He's different. Is what it is.
Appreciate this one here from April. Joe Foots, I can't wait until the mainstream finds you and gives you and send you to camp. That would be great. You know what I mean? But
no, it's coming. Me and Joe gonna stay down. It's coming. We
would definitely make that happen. It's. We're trying to get also. Foots and I have also talked about, the Senior Bowl. So we're big draft guys, but it's gonna happen. So either be Senior Bowl action or training camp. So yeah, definitely that'll be around the corner, guys. Appreciate that, April. I like this one here, Foots. Let's talk about this. Kelvin Joseph needs to play all game. I agree. I think he's got to get
Yeah, yeah.
it.
That's if there's a low,
Hmm.
and we're not saying that he's a bust or anything, but it's definitely like, yeah. I think that Joseph is what's the word? He could play. He's just I don't know. Like I said that Nashawn Wright is having a better camp than Joseph.
Yeah. No, that's just I'm with you on that. I think so. I mean, that's what you want to see. You want to see the players that improve physically and they're able to bring it onto the field, right? With
Mhm.
Kelvin, it's always been, is it his rap career or is it the football? Like what is number one, right? If football is number two, that's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get a player that's not fully in, you know.
Mhm.
And could he be a bust? I mean, we got to see what he does this year, you know. So, but that conversation is starting to rear its head, right? I mean, second round
Mhm.
pick and that kind of thing. But I'm with you, Nick. I'm with you 100%. He's got to get those snaps in and show us some things, you know. Show us that you can be consistent, that you can play in this league. You know what I mean? And which I think
Yeah.
he can. But where's his head at is really what it's going to be about. So football, sports in general, it's a lot of it's mental, right? So where's he at with that? Has he put all that stuff behind him, and is he focused 100% on football? If so, I think we'll be okay. But if not, you know, we'll see.
Mhm. Mhm. No, totally. Yeah. You know what's crazy, Joe? When we're right, and sometimes when we're wrong, we eat crow. But
Yeah,
we really be right way more than we're wrong. I'm not saying that Joseph is a bad player. I'm just like, okay, year two, the shooting incident. Now with camp, you're just kind of not hearing, and there's a reason why you're not hearing good things about him. The- yeah, I gotta see it. We'll see. Listen, the football will tell us everything we need to know.
yeah, it really does. Yeah. So that was a great one there, Nick. Appreciate that. Q&As. If anybody else has more in here, Foots, any are there any surprises in here in camp as far as like you thought maybe the player would be better than what they are? Maybe is anybody disappointing you?
Uh, hmm. Joseph, Joseph.
Hmm.
Some would say Diggs, but I mean, I don't look at those clips and overreact to Diggs.
I
Say that
don't
he's
either.
not a good player, or that's silly.
Yeah, it is. It's the that crowd is the PFF crowd. Oh, look at the numbers and this and that. Like, dude, get out of here. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he's a good player. I'm a big fan of Diggs. I know, and it's he's going to show up in the regular season. He's going to go after that ball and give your offense the opportunity, you know, to get some points. And that's really what really helped us last year, Foots, is those takeaways, you know, whether it was
Mm-hmm.
Diggs or whoever, right?
Yeah. Osmodia said, I haven't seen you guys disagree on anything. No, me and Joe don't always see eye to eye on everything, but the problem is this. We disagree with other content creators who push BS narratives or tell you guys that everybody's going to be a Pro Bowler. We don't do that. Like we just don't do that. You know, like
No.
everything is going to be with the caveat of you need to see it in games because the point is this: with certain guys, Joe, we can see. Okay, I'll give you one who hasn't. I haven't heard much from is Jake Ferguson. Um, and I don't know. I don't know why. You know what I mean, Joe? I don't know what they're asking him to do. So that's why you can't jump off a ledge with crazy predictions. You know what I mean, Joe?
Yeah,
So
spot on.
that'll be one,
Yeah.
maybe.
No,
But see, with Joseph, Joe, the reason why we are so adamant on what we're on is because we called this.
we did. We really, really did, guys. Like, and I know a lot of y'all have been watching this for a while. And when we got to draft season, a lot of people were like, "Oh yeah, let's get him, let's get him, let's get." Foots and I were a little bit more like, I don't know. I think I like Asante Samuel's better, but here we go with the Cowboys and their measurables. He doesn't meet the measurables, so they probably won't draft him. And they didn't. You know what I mean? So Cowboys, they do what they do in the draft, but they do have these very strict, prerequisites on who they bring in. And they really do. And I don't know if this is going to change in the future, Foots, but, that second round has always been, for the longest time, that roll the dice round, right? Whether it's somebody that has a medical issue, some kind of crazy off-field crap, maybe they're not fully in on football. The Cowboys, they seem attracted to that. Oh, you do that crap? You're on our radar. You screw around, hey, we like you. So, I don't know, man. It's a crazy deal.
No, that's it. Yeah. And I just, I believe too, Joe, it's just going to be interesting to see how everything plays, Joe. It really is.
I like the point about Ferguson because, and there's a lot of fans, right, that are blocked by Dalton Schultz for whatever reason. I think it's crazy. But for me, that's Dak's guy. I like him. I think you're looking at your number 2 guy right now is probably honestly McEwen. Now, he's another guy, Foots. If he can stay healthy to the preseason, he's probably that number 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to work in Ferguson. You know what I mean? He's not going to come out here and just be like a George Kittle or I don't know. I think some fans have this illusion that they conjured in their head, like, oh, Ferguson, he's gonna be all badass. We can forget about Schultz. We're not gonna re-sign him. Screw that guy. But I just don't see it working that way. I think Schultz is in it for the long run. I think the Cowboys want a long-term deal at the end of the day. But McEwen, I don't think enough people are talking about McEwen, and he's looking good in camp from what I've seen and read. But like you said, Ferguson, I think he's still trying to find his way, to be quite honest. I think that's why we haven't heard too much on him.
Yeah, and all right, I'll give you one, Joe. What's up with Neville Gallimore? Like, have you even heard anything with him?
I think it's that arm, man. I think what the Cowboys didn't say what it was. I know he tore some shit up there. There's no way that a dislocated, you know what I mean? Like, oh, it was dislocated, and he was out for like, what was it, like 8 games or some crap? Like, it was a long time, bro. Like, you don't miss that much time off a dislocated elbow, But he's out there. But I think Osa is the guy that's kind of slowly or quietly leapfrogging him as being, the guy over him, And Osa looked fantastic in the offseason. He's been in there grinding it out, getting his body good and everything got stronger. So, yeah, Gallimore, I haven't seen much. We see him out there, but he's not one of these guys that you can say, oh, he's turning heads. He's going to be, Aaron Donald-esque, this year. It's more of, has he plateaued, Foots? Is what you see from Neville Gallimore, throughout these first couple seasons, is that what he is?
I think it might be more of that. The second thing you said, Joe, that he might have plateaued. Seriously.
Yeah. See, so he's got that speed. He still has a speed element, right? We know that about him. He had like the fastest 40, the draft class that he came out, but the injury bug, and even before the elbow, he's had little nicks here and there. So, Ridgeway, I think he's a guy that's getting some good action here. Coach McCarthy likes him. Leon Lett has said really good things about him. Well, you get good praise from Big Cat, you're on your way. So you need more big behemoth type of guys. He's a big dude, plays with power too, Foots. What's your thoughts on Ridgeway so far, Foots?
The fact that he keeps being brought up by staff writers, by media members is really cool, Joe. And he does something. I want to see that battle between him and Bohanna. That's what I mean, man. preseason, guys. Like,
Yeah,
we'll see.
that's what
Can
we're going to
can Ridgeway go out there and eat up blocks, Joe?
Yeah. It's going to be the telltale sign as far as like, okay, there's
And,
something to him.
and he's going to get a lot of reps, Joe.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah, exactly what we've been talking about, right? These younger guys, they're going to get a big chunk of these snaps because we're not going to see starters.
Mhm.
I don't even know for that second game with who is it? The Chargers is the second game, right?
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, a quarter maybe out of your starters, maybe. I don't know. I don't even know about that. But you know, I don't want to see Tyron Smith out there, to be honest, preseason.
Right.
Then you got to deal with the rust. Like, I don't know. The Tyron managing his health has always been like a big pain in the ass because it's like you want to protect them, but you don't want him to be rusty. Where like game one, you're like, man, he's
You can't
you
do
know,
it or whatever.
yeah. So that's gonna be interesting there. Ridgeway, that's a good name, Anthony. Appreciate that. And David Talbert. Ain't heard much talk on Pollard. What I've seen, he looked good though. Thoughts? Yeah, I think Pollard.
Good, yeah.
Yeah, they definitely have a plan for him, and I think it's more of one of these like. And the Cowboys, they're very notorious for doing this, as far as like, oh, we don't want to reveal our secret plans and this and that. So that's the only thing I can really attribute, some of that to. But then the Cowboys also have a history of doing this to us, right? Like you see something in camp, and then they say they're going to do this, but then when the regular season comes, where's this two-back system? Where's this Zeke and Pollard on the field at the same time? Where did it go? So, like you said there, Foots, I don't know if we'll see that in the preseason because I don't know if they're going to put Zeke and Pollard out. Maybe in that second game, maybe, but they're probably not even going to show that. I wouldn't think, but
no, Tony's ready to go. Like,
yeah,
Tony's good. Yeah, he ain't. Yeah, Tony's good. Trust me on that. David, yeah, he's fine. You really need to get your third receiver ready. I mean, running back ready, but Tony's good to go.
Tony is the man with the plan. Let's see if this offensive coordinating gets it down. Let's see if they get that down. Foots, I think that this is a good show, a very good content indeed.
We killed it.
Yeah, great topics, guys. Keeping everybody up to date on what we're liking here in camp so far. Foots, is there anything else here that you want to hit up before we cut out tonight?
Dude, just good to get back with you, Joe. It's late, a little tired, but I was able to push through with you, man. I'm gonna listen back to this tomorrow. Joe is. I'm just thankful that you're healthy, Joe. I'm thankful that we have real football back. Before we go, can anybody tell me when the blue and white scrimmage is? Is that tomorrow, Joe? Or is it after the first preseason game?
That's a really good question. Today they
are
had.
they not doing it?
I don't know. Will they show it, right? Because what was it? The last time they didn't have, what was the whole gimmicky crap they did that one year? They didn't have the names on the jerseys or something like that.
They just did a bunch of I know what you mean, Joe.
Yeah. There was. I think it was that 2020. It might have been even last year. Maybe it was 2020. But I hadn't heard anything on the blue white scrimmage. They did show a pretty good slice of camp today with training camp live for like a good hour, so that was good watching that. If you guys missed that, go back, check out Dallas Cowboys. They probably have the replay, so good stuff there today. Cowboys put in a good work today, so good question though, Foots. We'll see when they do the blue white. We'll probably have to hook up again, man, and then break that down.
Let's do it, dude. I mean, you would think that it would be before the preseason game, which is next Saturday. So we'll see. Yeah,
it might be sometime during next week. We'll see what happens there. But guys, appreciate everybody in the chat box, man. Guys, make sure you guys pound that like button on your way out. Foots, let everybody know when they can find you if they haven't already. And I would be shocked out of my mind if they haven't already.
Cowboys Nation TV, and then me and Joe always start in trouble on on Twitter. So I'm at Footsdaking on Twitter. And I'll tell you this. If you want to get me and Joe in raw form, come to Twitter. We talk our talk on Twitter. And
That's so true, bro. I know, like I'll see Foots out there getting into it, and then yeah, you got to. You gotta dispel some of these crazy narratives every now and then, and we're definitely down for it. So guys, hit it, my boy Foots. That's all we have tonight.
thank you for having me, Joe.
Yeah, for sure, bro. We'll do it again. That's all we have, guys. Peace out, everybody.